Hi, my name is Paulo Arte, and now I want to explain some video that talk about how to fight desertification and reverse the climate change. Alan Savory begin by explaining that we are going through a great problem nowadays, which is the increase of the population, rising to 10 billion people, apart from the fact that the soil is becoming desert and the climate is changing. Many people say that this problem can be solved by replacing fossil fuels with technology. But this is not the only thing that is causing climate change. Desertification is a way of saying that the soil is becoming a desert and happens when too many vacant plots are created. There is no other causes, and that is what Alan Savory focuses on these conferences he is giving. The following satellite image shows what is in green is not in process of desertification, and the brown color, uh, yes. Approximately two-thirds of the world it is in the process of desertification. There are environments where humidity is warranted throughout the year, and in those places it is almost impossible to create large areas of wasteland, no matter what is done, as it is covered in nature quickly. Instead, there are environments where the months of humidity and months of drought, which is when desertification occurs. The conference shows a photograph of Tihama Desert. Well, 25 millimeters of rain fell, and the next day the terrain looked like this. Part of the water was disappeared in floods by runoff, but most of the water that's old, the soil only evaporate because the soil was discovered. It is always said that desertification only occurs in areas or semi-area of the world, and that areas with high rainfall pastures are not at risk. But if we look closely at the land without paying attention to pastures, we can see that most of the soil under the pasture is barren and covered with a bark of oak, giving opportunity to the runoff and evaporation of the water. It is known that desertification is caused by livestock that overgraze. The plants leaving the ground uncovered and producing methane. Alan Savory helped to preserve some wonderful areas as future national parks, managed to eliminate hunting, but the soils begin to deteriorate as in the next photo. And the cattle was not involved. Alan returned to the USA and found national parks in the process of desertification and had not previously gone back in these years, and began looking at all the experimental plots he could where cattle had been eliminated to prove that this could stop desertification. But found the opposite since in the following season, where the pasture was green, years later the situation had improved. The rainfall of green area which grazing is due to the desertification and urine herds of their food and forces them to keep moving, preventing overgrazing. In addition to the periodic trampling issues and cool ground cover, desertification in these places where there is no herd is due to the fact uh, that all pastures have to the biologically decomposed before the next growing season, and if they do not, the soil begins to die. If it does not decompose biologically, it changes oxidation, which is very slow process and disrupts and kills the pastures, giving rise to exchange of woody vegetation and rendering the soil naked, releasing carbon and remain trapped in the atmosphere. The only options to combat the desertification of the land was in the implementation of cattle on the grassland to renew the them not allow that area to become desert. But Alan did not know how to use that method, and that had worked since he needed to act quickly. Then began to investigate other professions and discovered that there were planning techniques that could take and adapt the biological needs and form, thus develop something that called holistic management and plain grazing and planning process that addresses all the complexities of the nature, social, environmental, and economics. In the other researches, according to FAO research, livestock in Latin America and the Caribbean can play a key role in achievement the sustainable development goals. An alternative that has give good results in the region in terms of sustainability are the silvopastoral system, which combine trees with pasture and animals within the same plot. In areas of rural research in Colombia, FAO has support that systems that allow to better conserve land's food to the animals. The trees shape livestock, improve the fertility of the soil, and allow additional economic income in the medium and long term as wood. Another practice that increases sustainability of the livestock sector is the treatment agricultural production waste, such as livestock manure, to generate an agricultural fertilizer of high nutritional value in biogas to be used as fuel. This decreases the potential for contamination of water and the atmosphere, helping to reduce production costs and thus improve value chains of small and large producers. According to the FAO, a greater use of this type of technologies at a global level, together with better practice in feeding, sanitation, and cattle breeding, could help the world livestock sector to reduce its production of gases causing global warming by up to 30%. Thank you very much for paying attention.